Chapter 729. Did anything like this happen in the previous game? Amidst the roaring and screams from monsters falling and building crumbling, that voice alone pierced distinctly into Yudhir's ears. Caught off guard by the unexpected events, Yudhir felt a slight warmth return to his blood, which had gone cold the moment he became aware of Kishir's presence. He took a small but deep breath and shook his head. No. Indeed, that would make sense. If you had known, you would have warned us earlier. That was true. If Yudhir had been certain such an event would occur, he would have rushed out alone, as he did during the Pethumat crisis in the west, to prevent it. However, Yudhir did recall a disaster strikingly similar to the current situation. A wind began to disturb the air around Yudhir. He muttered quickly and softly words meant only for Kishir's ears. While I have never seen monsters emerge this way, the crack I witnessed reminded me starkly of the signs of an event I remember. What event? The southern earthquake, recorded as the Empire's first catastrophe in the previous game. Originally, the southern earthquake was not expected to happen for several more years. A quick quake, dozens of days of aftershocks, and the massive tsunami that engulfed 3 regions in the aftermath. The disaster damaged most buildings in the southern cities, killed and injured countless people, and resulted in the loss of innumerable cultural artifacts and ruins. Usually, before such a disaster occurs, it is possible to predict to some extent signs that something unusual will happen through changes in the surrounding natural environment. However, the southern earthquake was unexpected, which worsened its impact. In hindsight, Yudhir thought he should have noticed something unusual from the start. However, an earthquake is a natural disaster, and it is unusually not thought that there might be some special or strange cause for a natural disaster to occur suddenly. At the time, Yudhir was busy suppressing the old nobility and concentrating power for Emperor Kachyan, dealing with uncooperative and hostile nobles and aiding in disaster recovery. Moreover, the southern branch of the cavalry was located slightly away from the most affected areas, delaying their response. This led to criticisms of the cavalry's ineffectiveness, a move instigated by the old nobles in their power struggle with Emperor Kachyan. Although the emperor shielded Yudhir, it still took considerable time for Yudhir, an expert in natural elements, to take charge in the south. Politically motivated delays exacerbated the aftermath of the earthquake, yet no one mentioned this fact. Anyway, the important thing is that although such cracks were observed back then, monsters never appeared. The timing and process are different now, but to say they are completely unrelated? With the newfound suspicion that the southern merchants might be behind these strange occurrences, Yudhir couldn't dismiss a possible connection. Yudhir succinctly relayed this information to Kishir. At that time, several cracks like this were seen, followed by an earthquake throughout the south. There had been no appearance of monsters, and the timing now is much quicker. But if this crack and the southern merchants are connected, it seems difficult to dismiss the relation entirely. So, you think it might have been caused by the same people as before? Yes. In his previous life, he had never properly interacted with the people of the southern countries, so he had no way of knowing how far their influence extended. As Emperor Kachyan's loyal sword, he had spent too long focusing solely on the information given to him, deliberately ignoring anything beyond that. He had thought it enough just to strengthen the cavalry and do the task assigned to him, but now those times seemed regrettable. However, Yudhir did not consider these unexpected events a failure. The appearance of the strange crack had accelerated, but it confirmed that this was not a natural occurrence and solidified the possibility of the southern merchants' involvement. Monsters might be falling like rain from the sky, but for now, the area affected was only around the southern branch of the cavalry. Thankfully, the citizens had long been evacuated, so no one was harmed, a blessing in disguise. More importantly, Ydir was no longer alone in sustaining the cavalry. Now, under Kishir, he could fully focus on resolving these monster incidents and the impending disaster related investigation. Because Kishir was here. Holding on to that thought, Ydir pulled out the black stones he had found amongst the belongings of the dead southern merchants. These are items carried by the deceased southern merchants. I find it difficult to identify them, so a detailed investigation will be necessary after this is over. Kishir's gaze briefly shifted to the barely visible remains of the southern merchants crushed under the monsters. Understood. You did well to collect them amidst this chaos. It's not something to be praised for. I couldn't prevent their suicide. Not everyone can handle every situation perfectly as planned. I too had assumed they weren't the type to give up their lives so easily like assassins. So, if we are to blame, it's my fault too. That's not true. You are far away, Commander. Please consider this my responsibility. Yidir's firm response brought a smile to Kishir's face, incongruous with the situation. As Yidir hesitated, Kishir spoke. Their deaths are regrettable, but it's not the worst scenario. Atan, whom we captured before your arrival, is still alive. You are pushing the responsibility onto yourself to prevent the others who helped and me from being implicated in this monster incident, aren't you? ... It's not right to bear it alone. That's not it. Kishir or Yidir felt his intentions had been read correctly, though he still tried to argue. Yet his objections were quickly halted by Kishir's words. Did I ever say that taking responsibility is one of my favorite things in the world? Kishir. ... Kishir gently brushed his hair with a tender touch. You know, the weight of responsibility is very heavy, but it's something that is only assigned to those who are deemed capable of bearing it. And unfortunately, that's an area where I haven't been greatly relied upon until now. It sounded like sophistry, yet still. With this opportunity, I can test how much I can endure and protect. And the thought that my assistant will witness it makes my heart race. It's not bad at all. His heart pounded in response to the jesting words that seemed to suggest it was unfair for him to monopolize such a great opportunity. Could it really be a good opportunity? But looking at that face, it truly seemed so, strangely enough. Amidst the deafening pounding in his ears, Kishir smoothly twirled the hilt of his sword he grasped and straightened it. Let's leave the rest of the discussion for after we finish this. And for now, shall we go together? Before the words were even fully uttered, Kishir raised his sword high and swung it down. Once again, Yidir witnessed the perfect trajectory of the sword he had seen before. The tip of the sword drew a silvery line through the air. Instantly, a monster that had approached them, mouth agape, was enveloped in blue light and split into two. Yidir saw the neatly cleaved monster above his head smoothly slide apart in both directions and collapse. Bone and flesh, like the smooth surface of a glass, split with clean cuts, an utterly surreal sight. Thump, thump. No terrifying scream, incomprehensible to human ears, was heard. The organs that could have produced such a sound had already been split in two. Yidir turned a look at the giant corpse of the monster, felled by a single sword strike. It twitched as if not yet completely dead, but astonishingly, not a single drop of its spilled fluid reached Yidir. It was a sword technique bordering on miraculous, the power of a sword master.